Terminator Dark Fate came out this past weekend, and okay, first off, quality of the movie aside, Dark Fate is a dumb title. That might just be my least favorite Terminator title ever. At least Genesis was kind of weird and interesting. Dark Fate is just bland. But that's beside the point. I went and saw it, and it was adequate. A competently made action movie with decent set pieces, pretty good performances, especially from Arnold and Linda, and competent direction. It honestly reminded me a lot of The Force Awakens, replicating the plot of earlier entries in the franchise, bringing back old cast members who are fan favorites, and delivering a solid movie without very many significant flaws. And it never should have been made, just like every other Terminator sequel since Terminator 2, because Terminator never should have been a franchise. James Cameron's original idea for Terminator came from a stress-induced nightmare he had while filming Piranha 2, about a robot hitman from the future coming to kill him. From there came the core premise of Terminator. Robot hitman is sent back in time to kill the mother of the dude who defeats the robots in the future. Someone else is sent back in time to protect her. The second movie repeats this formula with the added twist that the villain from the first movie is now the protector. And that's where this franchise should have ended, because this simple premise had already been exhausted. They had explored everything there was to explore with this very simple concept. They made a movie about two time travelers duking it out to protect a future savior, then they remade the movie, but bigger this time. Where do you go from there? Not to mention the fact that it ended with no real hope for any sort of sequel, considering the fact that they prevented Skynet from ever existing at the end of the movie. But nope, Hollywood had a moneymaker on their hands, so they were not going to let it sit on a shelf when it could be making money. So what did they do? Oh, Skynet still exists, but now they want to kill John Connor's wife. Or maybe let's just go back and redo the first two movies, except John Connor's a Terminator now. Whoa, what a twist! Or what if we just kill off John Connor? Yep, you heard me right. In the first 2 minutes of Dark Fate, they show young John Connor getting blown away, invalidating everything that happened in the previous movies. The director said they thought it was more interesting than John being an accountant or something, but I actually kind of would have liked to have seen that. A man who's told his whole life that he has this great destiny is now faced with a humdrum, boring life. That could have been interesting. I was kind of expecting that to be the case when I heard Edward Furlong was going to be in the movie. You know, instead of a de-aged CGI version of him. That must have been a disappointing call for poor Ed. Hey, you guys want me back for the sequel? No, we just want to recreate a CGI version of you as a kid so we can kill you off immediately and waste the great character we developed in the second movie. I hate it when sequels do this. Hey, you remember how we got to know Newt and Hicks and Aliens? Psych, they die off screen in the sequel. Remember how Agent K decided to retire and go back to his wife in Men in Black? Well, we needed a sequel, so he got a divorce and secretly wants to come back. Remember Paul Blart Mall Cop? I had a bit of a soft spot for the love story in that movie. You know, this big, chubby guy with low self-esteem winning over this sweet lady by being himself? Yeah, well, in the sequel, we find out she left him because he's overweight and gross. Why do studios do this? You can make a sequel without undoing what happened in the previous movie. Now, everything that happened in Terminator 1 and 2 doesn't matter, because even if you stop Skynet, a different regime of robots, apparently called Legion this time, will rise up in its place, serving the exact same function in the plot. All that development with John and Sarah and the T-800 and T2? Yeah, it didn't matter. Sarah's back to being the exact same hardened character she was in T2. John's a cadaver, and there's a different Terminator who looks like the old Terminator, except now he's old. All this so we can recreate the first two Terminator movies, just with different actors filling the roles. Danny is the new blander John or Sarah. Grace is the new Kyle or T-800. From there, the movie follows the exact same blueprint as every other Terminator movie. You can only make so many movies with the premise of Terminator before it becomes mind-numbingly repetitive. With Star Wars' endless sequels, at least you have an entire universe to explore. With Terminator, the studio will only allow for one storyline. Robot Hitman comes after Future Savior, Protector protects Future Savior, wash, rinse, repeat. This is actually why I think Terminator Salvation is an underrated movie. It's the only Terminator sequel to actually try something new, to look into the future and elaborate on the bleak setting we only caught glimpses of in the other films. I love the designs of the machines, the nightmarish world the characters inhabit. It wasn't amazing, the writing could have been a lot stronger, but it was a decent movie, and at least it did something different. It was originally planned as the beginning of a trilogy, and I'm kinda bummed we never got to see what it could have become. Again, credit where credit's due, Dark Fate isn't a bad movie. It's leagues better than any other post-T2 sequel, except maybe Salvation. That's debatable. But Linda Hamilton gives a great performance, as does Mackenzie Davis, and Gabrielle Luna was decently menacing. And hats off to Arnold Schwarzenegger. These movies should have stopped when he was young and still looked like an inhuman killing machine, but somehow, even at 72 years old, he still pulls off the role incredibly well, providing some fantastic fight scenes. But without James Cameron directing, it's missing Terminator 1 and 2's incredible style and pulse-pumping action. The CGI-filled battle sequences feel so much less real than the practical stunts and effects from the original. And the writing is just a copy and paste from the franchise's greatest hits. It's yet another homogenized blockbuster in an age of repetitive sequels. And it's a sequel in a series that never needed more than one sequel. I don't think I'm the only one who feels this way, as it's currently bombing at the box office. And it doesn't matter that James Cameron produced, it doesn't matter that a good director like Tim Miller directed, it doesn't matter that they brought back the old stars. This is a franchise that never should have existed, that never had a larger story to tell, and in my opinion it should have been terminated a long time ago.